Hey, how you doing today? I'm back. We basically still on with the Constitution. The Constitution of the state of Missouri. I'm that Grand Pimp, Skate Master Spark. They call me New School. The New School is a new school for the Queens. And we have already written or read to you the Acts of Admission. And the Acts of Admission was basically the groundworks that they put in so they could be part of the Union in Missouri. Now I'm going to read to you the Ordinance of Acceptance. Okay, the Ordinance of Acceptance, an ordinance of declaring the assent of the people of the state of Missouri by their representatives and convention assembled to certain conditions and provisions in the Act of Congress of the 6th of March 1820, entitled An Act to Authorize the People of Missouri Territory to Form a Constitution and a State Government, and for the admission of such state into the Union on an equal footing with the original states, and to prohibit slavery in certain territories. Whereas the Act of Congress of the United States of America approved March the 6th, 1820, entitled An Act to Authorize the People of Missouri Territory to Form a Constitution and a State Government, and for the admission of such state into the Union on an equal footing with the original states, and to prohibit slavery in certain territories, contains certain requisitions and provisions, and among other things has offered to this convention, when formed for and in behalf of the people inhabited this state, for the free acceptance or rejection, the 5 following propositions, of which, if accepted by the convention in behalf of the people, as aforesaid, are to be obligatory on the United States. First, the section numbered 16 in every township, and when such sections has been sold or otherwise disposed of, other lands equivalent thereof, and as contagious as may be, shall be granted to the state for the use of the inhabitants of such townships, for the use of schools. Second, for all salt springs not exceeding 12 in numbers, with 6 sections of land adjoining to each, shall be granted to and said state for the use of said state, the same to be selected by the legislature of the same state on or before the first day of January in the year 1825, and the same, when so selected, to be used under the such terms, conditions, and regulation as the legislature of the said state shall direct, provided that no salt springs, the right whereof or of now is, or hereafter shall be, confirmed or adjudged to any individual or individuals, shall by this section be granted to said state, to provide also that the legislature shall never sell or lease the same at any one time for longer period than 10 years without the consent of Congress. Third, that the 5% of the net proceeds of the sales of land lying within the small territory of the state, and which shall be sold by Congress from and after the first day of January next. After deducting all expenses, including to the same, shall be reserved for making public roads and canals, of which 3/5 shall be applied to those objects within the state, under the direction of the legislature thereof, and the other 2/5 in defraying, under the direction of Congress, the expenses to be incurred in making of the roads, canal, or canals leading to the said state. 4. That 4 entire sections of land be, and the same are hereby granted to said state for the purpose of fixing the seat of government thereon, which said section shall, under the direction of the legislature of the said state, be located as near as may be in one body at any time to such townships and ranges as legislature aforesaid may select, or on any of the public lands of the United States, provided that such locations shall be made prior to the public sale for the lands of the United States surrounding such location. 5th, that 36 sections or one entire township, which shall be designated by the President of the United States, together with the other lands heretofore reserved for that purpose, shall be reserved for the use of a seminary of learning, and vested in the legislature of the said state, to be appropriated solely for the use of such seminary by the legislature. Now, this convention for and in behalf of the people inhabiting this state, and by the authority of the said people, do accept the 5 before reciting propositions offered by the act of Congress under which they are assembled, and in pursuance of the conditions, the requisitions, and the provisions in the before recited act of Congress contained this convention. 4. And in behalf of the people inhabiting this state, do ordain, agree, and declare that every and each tract of land sold by the United States from and after the first day of January next shall remain exempt from any tax laid by order or under the authority of the state, whether for the state, country, or townships, or any other purpose whatever, for the term of 5 years from and after the respective day of sale thereof, and that the bounty lands granted or hereafter to be granted for military service during the late war shall, while they continue to be held by the patentees on their heirs, remain exempt, as foresaid, from taxation for the term of 3 years, and from and after the date of their patents, respectively, provided nevertheless that if Congress or the United States shall consent to repeal and revoke the following clause in the 5th proposition of the 6th section of the Act of Congress before reciting, and in these words, viz., that every and each tract of land sold by the United States from said and after from the first day of January next shall remain exempt from any tax laid by order or under the authority of the state, whether for the state, country, or township, or any purpose whatever, for the term of 5 years, from and after the day of sale and forever, and further, that the Constitution for and behalf of the people of the state of Missouri do hereby ordain, consent, and agree to the same to be revoked and repealed, without which consent of the Congress, as aforesaid, the said clause to remain in full force and operation, as first approved, provided for this in this ordinance. And this convention do hereby request the Congress of the United States so to modify the third proposition, that the whole amount of the 5% on the sale of public lands therein offered may be applied to the construction of roads and canals and the promotion of education within the state under the direction of the legislation thereof. And this convention for and in behalf of the people inhabiting the state, and by the authority of the said people, do further ordain, agree, and declare that this ordinance shall be irrevocable without the consent of the United States.